A Ge'ez parchment codex sits inside the Ethiopian Orthodox Patriarchate archive in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The manuscript runs to approximately 209 leaves. Access is restricted to ordained clergy only. No researcher enters without ecclesiastical permission. Within that codex, the 22nd division of the Book of the Watchers describes 4 hollow places beneath the earth. 4 distinct, separated, not symbolic regions. Architectural chambers, each assigned a specific class of the dead. Banned, hidden, called dangerous. Late antiquity church councils stripped the Book of Enoch from the Western canon, and for roughly 14 centuries it vanished from the English-speaking world entirely. Then, in 1912, scholar R.H. Charles published the first complete English translation from the Ethiopic. One text, 14 centuries of suppression reversed by a single academic volume. What Charles translated is not allegory. 1 Enoch chapter 22 is a spatial diagram. It describes 4 waiting chambers beneath the earth where the dead are held in separation, sorted by category, sealed until judgment. Not a metaphor for spiritual states, a map, a literal architectural record of where the dead go and why they are kept apart. In the next several minutes, you will see exactly what that map describes, who is assigned to each chamber, and what the angel Raphael reveals when Enoch asks him to explain what he is looking at. If forbidden biblical history is what keeps you up at night, subscribe now. Every week, this channel surfaces what was removed. The source is precise. Verses 9 and 10 of the 22nd division of the Book of the Watchers, drawn from the Ethiopic Codex held in Ethiopian Orthodox custody, rendered into English by R.H. Charles in his 1912 Oxford translation. That translation remains the foundational English reference for this text. Every word cited here traces back to that manuscript lineage. The verse describes the first of the 4 chambers. It holds the righteous dead, and the language used to describe it is not vague. The Ge'ez term is Tseba Mai. It translates directly as luminous water. Not a river in the conventional sense, not a symbolic spring of life. The Ge'ez is specific, water that carries its own light. The text places this luminous water inside a hollow space beneath the earth, sealed from the surface, functioning as a distinguishing feature of the chamber assigned to the righteous. The water is bright. The chamber is bright. The separation is intentional. That detail sat inside an ancient manuscript for 3,000 years before geology had a framework to explain it. Here is what makes that significant. Underground water that produces its own light is not a common intuition. Surface water reflects sunlight. Underground water in sealed systems does not, unless specific conditions are present. In the 20th century, researchers studying hydrothermal cave systems began documenting a phenomenon called hydrothermal luminescence. Water superheated by geothermal activity, moving through sealed rock chambers with zero access to sunlight, can emit a faint but measurable glow. The mechanism involves thermal radiation at the extreme edge of the visible spectrum. The water produces light. In the dark. Underground. In a sealed chamber. The text describes this. The text describes it accurately. The author had no access to hydrothermal research, no geological survey of sealed cave systems, no spectral measurement equipment. He had no way to know. Yet Tseba Mai, luminous water, is precisely what hydrothermal luminescence produces. Water that glows in a space where no external light source exists. This is not a loose poetic parallel. The Ge'ez term is not borrowed from a surface world description of sunlit rivers. It is a compound construction. Tseba, meaning radiant or glowing, and mai, meaning water. Radiant water. The translator Charles rendered it as a bright spring, which is accurate, but the Ge'ez carries more precision than that English phrase suggests. It specifies the light as intrinsic to the water itself, not a spring lit by an outside source, a spring that is itself luminous. The chamber assigned to the righteous dead is the only one of the four described with this feature. The other three chambers are not given this characteristic. The separation is deliberate, and the distinguishing marker is physical. One group of the dead waits in a chamber where the water glows. The others do not. Consider what that means as a sorting principle. The text is not describing emotional states or spiritual metaphors. It is describing observable physical conditions that differ.
Before we continue, I want to show you something that could completely change how you see the Book of Enoch and what was buried inside it. Most people spend years collecting fragments of knowledge without ever finding the complete picture. That's exactly why we built the complete library. It brings together the Watcher's descent and their forbidden transmissions, the angelic hierarchy and its role in the end time sequence, the soul's journey through death into the intermediate state, and the precise prophetic timeline running all the way to the final judgment into one practical system. If you've enjoyed the teachings we've explored on this channel, you're going to love what's inside. You can find it through the link in the description below or by scanning the QR code on your screen. I'll give you a second to do that.
Differentiate one chamber from another. The righteous chamber has luminous water. That is a material fact recorded in a banned manuscript, confirmed by a geological phenomenon documented roughly 3,000 years later, and still sitting inside an access-restricted archive in Addis Ababa. The ancient record and the modern data point at the same thing. Different centuries, different vocabularies, same phenomenon. And the text doesn't stop there. The second chamber carries no luminous water. It carries something else entirely. And what Raphael tells Enoch about who is held inside it is where this map becomes deeply unsettling. The second chamber appears in 1 Enoch, verse 11 of the 22nd chapter, recorded in the Book of the Watchers. The manuscript tradition runs through the Ge'ez codices held at the British Library under the Ethiopic collection, cross-referenced against the Qumran fragments catalogued as 4Q204. R.H. Charles produced the definitive English rendering in 1912, and his translation of this passage has not been meaningfully challenged in over a century. What Charles found in that verse was not a gentle word for suffering. The Ge'ez reads Hamamat Abi. Break that down. Hamamat does not mean discomfort. It does not mean sorrow or grief or even pain in the mild sense we might reach for. It means great pain, active, sustained, ongoing torment. Abi amplifies it. Great, enormous, without measure. This is not a waiting room. This is a sealed chamber of unrelenting anguish. And the text is precise about who is inside it. Sinners, held in darkness, sealed there until what the text calls the great day of judgment and punishment. Not released early, not given intervals of relief. Sealed. The architecture of this place is explicit. No luminous spring, no spring of water at all. No light source is mentioned. The contrast with the first chamber is deliberate and total. Where the righteous wait in brightness, the sinners wait in nothing, in sealed, active suffering. Now consider the broader picture. The four-chamber underworld is not unique to Enoch. The Mesopotamian conception of the afterlife, drawn from cuneiform tablets recovered from Nineveh and Nippur, tablets now held at the British Museum and the University of Pennsylvania Museum of Archaeology, describes a structured underworld with distinct regions assigned to distinct categories of the dead. The Egyptian Book of the Dead, papyrus copies of which date to the 15th century before the Common Era, maps the Duat as a divided realm with separated chambers for the justified and the condemned. These traditions developed independently, separated by geography and language and centuries of time. And yet the architecture matches. Separated holding places, different conditions for different categories of the dead. Active torment in one region, rest in another. The structural logic is identical across three ancient civilizations that had no documented contact on this specific theological question. Enoch was writing, or dictating, or recording what he claimed to witness from a tradition that predates the codification of Egyptian or Mesopotamian cosmology as we now study it. He had no library of comparative religion. He had no access to Nineveh's tablets. He had no translation key for hieroglyphic underworld maps. He had no way to know. Yet the architecture matches across three ancient civilizations, independently across thousands of miles and hundreds of years. That is the impossible knowledge beat this text keeps producing. Not once, repeatedly. The Book of the Watchers describes structures that should not have been describable with the information available to its author. And each time, the ancient record and the modern archaeological confirmation converge on the same point. The chamber of great pain is sealed. The sinners inside it are not waiting to be tried. They are waiting for the final sentence to be read aloud over a verdict already rendered. That is what Hamamat Abi means when you pull it out of the Ge'ez and hold it in the light. And this is where it gets disturbing. A third chamber holds a different kind of dead, and what they are doing inside it changes the entire logic of this map. Verse 12 of that same 22nd chapter. Still the Book of the Watchers, still the R.H. Charles 1912 translation from the Ge'ez codices of the Ethiopic canon. This verse describes a third hollow place, and the dead inside it are unlike either of the first two categories. The Ge'ez phrase is Yetzed Kan Nefsat. Parse it carefully. Yetzed Kan means of the righteous. Nefsat means souls. But what makes this phrase forensically significant is the verb structure surrounding it in the original text. These souls are not resting. They are not waiting in silence. They are actively petitioning. The grammar implies ongoing, continuous action, crying out, making a legal claim, pressing a case. Charles renders it as the spirits of the children of men who were slain in the days of the sinners. These are righteous people who were murdered, killed by sinners, and they have not been placed in the bright spring of the first chamber. They occupy a third, separate hollow place, and they are crying out for justice. This is a critical distinction. The text is not conflating righteousness with rest. It is drawing a legal line. These souls have an unresolved claim. They were wrongfully killed. Their blood was shed. And the text treats that as an open judicial matter, not resolved at death, not resolved by their own righteousness, but pending. Pending until the great day when the verdict on their killers is finally executed. That legal framework is not invented by Enoch. It is ancient Near Eastern law applied to the structure of the afterlife. Mesopotamian tablet records, specifically the Sumerian legal texts recovered from Ur and now cataloged at the Iraq Museum and the British Museum, contain the concept of blood crying out. The blood of the slain was understood in ancient legal tradition as an active testimony. It was not metaphor, it was evidence. It created an obligation on the cosmic order to respond. Genesis records Abel's blood crying from the ground. That same legal concept, the blood of the murdered righteous as an active, ongoing petition, appears in Mesopotamian legal clay tablets that predate the Genesis text in their written form. The framework is older than any single tradition claiming it. It is a legal concept embedded in the ancient world's understanding of how justice operates across the boundary of death. What Enoch describes in this third chamber is that same legal architecture applied to a specific category of soul. The murdered righteous are not at rest because their case is not closed. They are held in a distinct place, actively petitioning until the court convenes. The geography of the afterlife, according to this text, follows legal logic. Where you wait depends not only on what you were, but on what was done to you, and whether that wrong has been answered. He had no way to construct this framework from thin air. The legal theology embedded in this verse matches a cross-cultural evidentiary tradition confirmed in cuneiform, in papyrus, and in the Genesis text itself. Same concept, different languages, different centuries. But here is what makes this stranger. The fourth chamber holds no human dead at all. The fourth hollow place does not appear only in the 22nd chapter. It is introduced earlier, in verse 14 of the 18th chapter of 1st Enoch, Book of the Watchers, again translated by R.H. Charles in 1912 from the Ge'ez manuscripts of the Ethiopic canon. Cross-referenced against the Aramaic Qumran fragment 4Q204, held under the care of the Israel Antiquities Authority. The Ge'ez term is Bet Mekwanit. Bet means house, dwelling, enclosure. Mekwanit means the great ones, specifically exalted beings. Not humans, not the dead in any ordinary sense. What the text describes here is a sealed holding place beneath the earth, and what it holds is not a human soul. It holds the Watchers. The text is explicit. These are the angels who abandoned their station, who left their designated place, who crossed a boundary they were not permitted to cross. And they are not wandering, they are imprisoned. The word bet, enclosure, sealed house, is the same root used for a locked place of confinement. This is not a region of the underworld where they drift. It is a prison, sealed, waiting, like every other chamber in this map, for the great day of judgment. Now consider what two New Testament authors record, independently, centuries after Enoch was written. Jude, verse 6. Angels who did not keep their own domain, but abandoned their proper abode, he is kept in eternal bonds under darkness for the judgment of the great day. 2 Peter, verse 4. God did not spare angels when they sinned, but cast them into Tartarus and committed them to chains of gloomy darkness, to be kept until the judgment. The geography is identical. Sealed place, darkness, held until judgment. The New Testament authors are not inventing a new cosmology. They are recording the same location Enoch mapped, the same sealed prison beneath the earth, the same condition of confinement, the same pending judgment on the same category of prisoner. Jude and Peter wrote in the 1st century of the Common Era. Enoch, the text as we have it, is dated by most manuscript scholars to between the 3rd and 2nd centuries before the Common Era, with source traditions older still. Two independent authors, writing in Greek, in a different century, in a different cultural context, confirm the same sealed prison with the same boundaries. He had no way to know. Yet two independent New Testament authors record the same geography, the same conditions, the same prisoners, the same pending verdict. The fourth chamber is not a human afterlife at all. It is a holding cell for something older than humanity's dead. And the map Enoch drew is still there, with Raphael standing at its edge, naming every boundary. The Charles 1912 edition is in print. It is online. It is an Ethiopian Orthodox liturgy, read aloud in churches today. 1 Enoch chapter 22 has never disappeared. The suppression failed. 4 chambers, 4 populations. 1 angel standing at the entrance, naming every boundary. That architecture is checkable right now, in any university library, on any screen. The geography Enoch recorded has not shifted beneath the translations. The mechanism is still running. The separated dead, the sealed spring, the darkened hollow, the prisoners older than humanity's dead. All of it waiting, unchanged, for a verdict that has not yet arrived. Which chamber do you think was hidden most deliberately? Tell us below. And if forbidden biblical history matters to you, subscribe. Every week we surface what was removed from the record.